Hey guys, so I'm on my way to work, and I wanted to discuss something that I've been learning that has to do with genetics. So whenever I had my DNA done and I ran it through, there's different companies you could use. Strategy, Follow My Fitness has a nice tool that you could use. Follow My Fitness, and the other one is Prometheus. Well, so one of the things I found out is that I've known this for a long time, where if I were to use a medicine like Wellbutrin, one of the things it does is it increases norepinephrine. Now, most people could take it and they don't really have any issues. But when I would take it, I couldn't sleep. No matter what I did, I couldn't sleep. I'd take it in the morning, even a low dose, and it still would make it difficult for me to sleep. The other thing I had was if I were to take something like Lexapro, an SSRI, it would have issues with sexual dysfunction. So you kind of get yourself into a position where if you really need some help, where do you go? And I've often wondered why all this happens. So, looking at the DNA results, turns out the catechol O-methyltransferase gene, I'm what they call VAL-VAL. And so it means I have a fast COMT gene. And so what that does is dopamine, as it goes between the neurons, it gets into the synapse area, and normally what happens is it does its job and it's cleared back. It's reuptake. So, but what the COMT does is that also oxidizes, or it clears the dopamine. And so if it's too fast, what you end up with is a condition where you don't have enough dopamine. It's taken up, it's utilized, it's cleared before it has a chance to really do much. So the second part of it is that I have the Monoamine Oxidize gene, MAOA, and in my case, it's slow. Go figure. So, and you would think, well, if it's slow, one of the things MAOA does, or the monoamine oxidise, is, let me say it right. Anyway, it takes care of serotonin and norepinephrine. COMT takes care of norepinephrine, dopamine. So I can never understand why serotonin helped, but of course you had side effects with the SSRI. And basically what I came up with is this. The COMT is responsible for clearing the dopamine in the synapse, which is the area between the neurons. It also plays a role in your intestinal tract. And I didn't know this. And it's one of the reasons why you have to use an inhaler like albuterol, because the COMT actually clears the adrenaline. So, and it does it in your gut. Go figure. Well, getting back to the brain. So, you end up with low dopamine, and so, you don't have the rose-colored glasses. Things are all right. When things go really bad, when you're under a lot of stress, you tend to thrive because you create more dopamine. Anyway, the COMT clears that there. But then what about the MAOA? Well, from what I can derive, that particular enzyme clears the serotonin and the norepinephrine in the neuron's vesicle. So what happens is in the neuron itself, you have two neurons. Between is the synapse. Well, inside that neuron, there's receptors and things like that allow these chemicals to move back and forth. Well, so the MAOA works within the vesicle. So in theory, you have serotonin, and you create serotonin, and then it's released to go between the two neurons. But if you can't clear it well enough, you end up with too much serotonin up in that area. Now, it may get into the synapse, it may do fine. My suspicion is that you have too much serotonin, and one of the reasons an SSRI works, which you would think would work, is it's a reuptake inhibitor. Remember, serotonin, it leaves the synapse, it leaves the vesicle, it leaves the neuron, goes to the synapse. What's not used, or when it's done, is it's reuptake. It's taken back up in. So you recycle. Well, if you already have too much, you really don't want to recycle. And I suspect that's why an SSRI works in that case. However, my suspicion is also that with too much serotonin, though, in that area, it affects other problems. And the fun thing is, while serotonin is a make you feel good kind of drug, it can also make you feel like crap. In other words, so you're faced with a stressful situation. Mild stress, yeah, you do fine. You can deal with it. But if you're slammed with something, all of a sudden you get this phone call. It's like, hey, property taxes just doubled tomorrow. Well, if you have too much serotonin, you're going to freak out. I kid you not, you will freak out. And so that's my synopsis of how this works. Hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.